It's a humid summer night in Nashville, Tennessee, the city buzzing with country music and late-night vibes. Emily Harper, a 25-year-old bartender with chestnut hair and tired green eyes, wipes down the counter at a small dive bar called Rusty Strings. She's good at her job, flashing smiles to tipsy patrons, but tonight, her heart's heavy. Just hours ago, she walked into her tiny apartment to find her boyfriend of 3 years, Jake Miller, tangled up with her best friend since high school, Lila Bennett. The betrayal stings like a fresh cut, and Emily can't shake the image of them laughing as she stormed out. She finishes her shift, grabs a bottle of cheap whiskey from behind the bar, and decides to drown her sorrows right there. The bar's mostly empty now, just a few stragglers humming along to the jukebox. Emily pours herself a shot, then another, her hands trembling. She mutters to herself, 3 years and he picks her? What a joke. Her words slur as the whiskey burns her throat, and soon she's giggling at nothing, the room spinning. That's when he walks in. Ethan Caldwell, 30 years old, CEO of Caldwell Enterprises, a real estate empire based in New York. He's tall, with sharp features, dark hair swept back, and a navy suit that screams money. He's in Nashville to close a deal on a new development, but tonight, he's escaping the pressure of his family's expectations. Ethan doesn't usually hit dive bars, but Rusty Strings caught his eye on the drive back to his hotel. He slides onto a stool, orders a bourbon, and watches the chaos unfolding a few seats down. Emily spots him, her vision blurry, and stumbles over. "Hey, handsome," she slurs, leaning on the counter. "You look like you've got stories. Buy me a drink and I'll tell you mine." Ethan raises an eyebrow, amused. He's not here for company, but there's something about her raw honesty that hooks him. "You're already 3 sheets to the wind," he says, his voice smooth but firm. "Maybe water's more your speed." Emily laughs, loud and unfiltered. "Water? Nah, I'm celebrating freedom from a cheating jerk. Join me." They talk, or rather she rambles, spilling her heartbreak between sloppy sips. Ethan listens, sipping his bourbon, intrigued by this firecracker of a woman who's clearly falling apart. Hours blur, and somehow they end up back at his hotel room at the Grand Hyatt. It's not planned, just a messy collision of 2 people running from their own storms. Emily's too drunk to think straight, and Ethan, well, he's tired of being the perfect son his family demands. Morning hits like a freight train. Emily wakes up in a king-sized bed, sheets crisp and unfamiliar, a pounding headache her only companion. She's in a plush suite, sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. Her clothes are strewn across the floor, and panic sets in. "Oh no, what did I do?" she whispers, clutching the blanket. Then she notices it. Her sapphire necklace is gone. It's a simple piece, a teardrop gem on a silver chain, the last gift from her grandmother before she passed from heart failure years ago. Emily's heart sinks. That necklace is her anchor, her piece of home. Ethan steps out of the bathroom, showered and dressed, holding a coffee mug. "Morning," he says casually, like this is normal. Emily scrambles up, wrapping the sheet around her. "Where's my necklace?" she demands, voice shaky. "I had it last night and now it's gone. Did you take it?" Ethan sets the mug down, pulls the sapphire pendant from his pocket, and dangles it in front of her. "This it?" he asks, his tone neutral. Emily lunges for it, but he pulls back. "Not so fast. I've got a proposition." She glares at him, cheeks flushing. "What kind of game is this? Give it back." Ethan leans against the wall, unfazed. "I need a favor. My family's been hounding me to marry some heiress I can't stand. There's a gala in New York this weekend, and I need a fiancé to shut them up. Play the part for one night, and this necklace is yours. Plus, I'll cover the medical bills you're drowning in from your grandma's hospital stay. Deal?" Emily freezes. She's still paying off those debts, her bartender gig barely covering rent, and that necklace means everything. "Why me?" she asks, suspicious. Ethan shrugs. "You're here, and you're convincing. One night, that's all." Emily hesitates, then nods. "Fine, one night, but I'm not your toy." Ethan smirks. "Noted. We leave for New York in 2 hours. They fly out that afternoon, Emily in borrowed clothes from the hotel gift shop, feeling like a fish out of water next to Ethan's polished confidence. She's nervous, but the promise of her necklace and debt relief keeps her going. In New York, they stop at a cafe near their hotel to grab lunch before prepping for the gala. That's when fate throws a curveball. Jake and Lila walk in, arm in arm, laughing like nothing's wrong. Emily's stomach drops. Jake spots her and sneers. Well, look who's slumming it in the big city. Still crying over me? Lila chimes in. He heard you got caught stealing back in the day, Em. Classy. Emily clenches her fists, ready to snap, when Ethan steps forward, sliding an arm around her waist. She's not crying over anyone, he says coolly. She's my fiancé. And you two? You're just background noise. Jake's jaw drops and Lila sputters. Fiancé? Her? Ethan doesn't blink. Yeah, her. Now excuse us, we've got better things to do. He guides Emily out, leaving Jake and Lila stunned. Outside, paparazzi snap photos, the rumor mill already churning. Emily pulls away, heart racing. What was that? She demands. Ethan glances at her. Practice for tonight. You okay? She nods, unsure if she's mad or grateful. Back at the hotel, Emily stares at herself in the mirror, a borrowed dress hugging her frame. She's stepping into a world she doesn't belong in, all for a necklace and a paycheck. But something about Ethan's steady presence lingers in her mind. She shakes it off. One night, she mutters. That's it. Emily stands in the hotel suite, smoothing the borrowed dress over her hips. It's a deep blue number, elegant but foreign to her, like she's playing dress-up in someone else's life. Ethan adjusts his tie in the mirror nearby, his movements precise. Ready? He asks, catching her eye. She nods, though her stomach churns. The gala at the Caldwell family estate in Long Island is hours away, and she's about to walk into a room full of people who'd rather see her gone, all for a necklace and a stack of paid-off bills. They arrive at the estate as dusk settles, the sprawling mansion glowing with warm lights against the ocean backdrop. Chandeliers glitter inside, and guests in tuxedos and gowns mill about, sipping champagne. Ethan offers his arm, and Emily takes it, her fingers tense. Just smile and follow my lead, he murmurs. She forces a grin, feeling like a fraud among the elite. They step into the grand hall, and heads turn. Whispers ripple through the crowd, fueled by the paparazzi photos from earlier. Richard Caldwell, Ethan's father, approaches first. He's a broad man in his 60s, silver hair slicked back, his suit impeccable. His eyes narrow at Emily. So this is her, he says, voice low but cutting. The bartender fiancé. Ethan, what's this nonsense? Ethan keeps his tone even. She's with me, Dad. That's all you need to know. Richard scoffs. She's after your money. You think I haven't seen her type before? Emily's cheeks burn, but she stays silent, gripping Ethan's arm tighter. Then Sophie Caldwell sweeps in, Ethan's younger sister, 24 and dripping in designer silk. Her blonde hair bounces as she smirks at Emily. Cute dress, she says, her voice syrupy with venom. Did you borrow it from the hotel staff? Guests nearby chuckle, and Emily's jaw tightens. Ethan steps forward. Enough, Sophie. She's my guest. Sure, let's see how long she lasts. She saunters off, already pulling out her phone. The night drags on, Emily shadowing Ethan as he works the room. She feels the stares, the judgment, but keeps her head up. Then her phone buzzes. She slips it from her clutch and her heart stops. A tweet from Sophie's account. Meet Ethan's new fiancé, a thief with a rap sheet. Classy choice, bro. Attached is a blurry photo of Emily from the cafe, time-stamped that afternoon. Comments flood in. Gold digger, trash. Caldwell slumming it. Emily's hands shake. Her past, the time she stole cash at 14 to pay for her grandma's meds, is now a headline. She finds Ethan near the bar, his jaw set as he scrolls his own phone. You see this? She whispers, shoving her screen at him. He nods, eyes darkening. Sophie's work. I'll handle it. Before she can argue, he strides to the center of the hall, clinking a glass for attention. The room quiets. "I've got something to say," he announces, voice steady. "My sister posted a lie about Emily Harper tonight. She's not a thief. She made a mistake years ago to save her grandmother's life, something most of you wouldn't understand. I'm suing Sophie for defamation, and if anyone else wants to judge, take it up with me." Gasps ripple through the crowd. Emily stares, stunned. He didn't have to do that, not for a fake fiancé. Sophie storms over, face red. "You're kidding, right? She's nobody." Ethan doesn't flinch. "She's with me. That's enough." Sophie huffs and retreats, guests whispering furiously. Emily pulls Ethan aside, heart pounding. "Why'd you do that?" she asks. He shrugs. "It's the truth, and I don't let people trash what's mine." Her chest tightens at mine, but she brushes it off. This is just a deal. Back at the hotel, Emily's still reeling when Ethan gets a call. It's Richard, his voice booming through the speaker. "I had her checked out, Ethan. She's got heart trouble, just like her grandma. She's a liability. End this now." Ethan's grip tightens on the phone. "She's not your problem, Dad. I decide who stays in my life." He hangs up, turning to Emily. "You okay after tonight?" She nods, though Sophie's tweet still stings. "Yeah. Thanks for sticking up for me." He studies her, something soft in his eyes. "Get some rest. You earned it." Morning comes, and Emily's scrolling her phone over coffee when a new headline pops up. Caldwell CEO defends mystery fiancé in gala showdown. The story's everywhere, her name tied to Ethan's. She groans, but there's a flicker of warmth, too. He didn't just defend her, he made it public. Then her phone buzzes again, a text from an unknown number. "This isn't over, Emily. Watch your back." Her gut twists. She shows it to Ethan, who frowns. "Sophie," he mutters, "or someone she's roped in." They head to Caldwell Enterprises' sleek office tower in Manhattan, Ethan determined to dig into the threat. Emily trails him, uneasy but curious. In his corner office, he pulls up Sophie's social media on a laptop, finding a new post, a cryptic photo of a man in a hoodie, captioned, "Payback's coming." Ethan's jaw clenches. She's not letting this go. Emily frowns. What's her deal? He sighs. She hates anyone who gets close to me, thinks it threatens her spot in the family. Emily's about to reply when Ethan's assistant rushes in, a tablet in hand. "Sir, you need to see this. Someone's digging into Emily's past, and it's not just Sophie." Ethan takes the tablet, scanning a report. "Private investigator, hired by my father." Emily's stomach drops. "Your dad?" Ethan nods, grim. "He doesn't trust you, wants leverage to push you out." She sinks into a chair, overwhelmed. "I didn't sign up for this." Ethan kneels beside her, voice firm. "You're not alone in it. I'll fix this." Hours later, Emily's back at the hotel, staring out at the city skyline. The gala was supposed to be one night, but now she's tangled in a web of family grudges and public scrutiny. Ethan's defense echoes in her mind, his words sharper than she expected. "I don't let people trash what's mine." She shakes her head, reminding herself it's just a role. But as she clutches the borrowed dress, the sapphire necklace still out of reach, she wonders if Ethan's starting to see her as more. Downstairs, Ethan's on the phone, barking orders to his legal team. "Find out who Sophie's working with. This ends now." Outside, a figure watches the hotel, a familiar smirk on his face. Jake Miller. Emily sits on the edge of the hotel bed, staring at the city lights beyond the window. The text from last night, "This isn't over, Emily. Watch your back," gnaws at her. She's in deeper than she ever planned, caught in a storm she didn't start. Downstairs, Ethan's still on the phone with his legal team, his voice a low rumble through the walls. She rubs her temples. The borrowed dress from the gala crumpled in a corner. The sapphire necklace feels further away than ever. Morning breaks, gray and heavy over Manhattan. Ethan knocks on her door holding 2 coffees. "Sleep okay?" he asks, handing her one. She shrugs, taking the cup. "Not really. That text freaked me out." He sits across from her, face serious. "We'll figure it out. Sophie's behind it. Maybe with help. I've got people looking into it." Emily nods, sipping the coffee, its warmth steadying her. Your sister hates me that much? Ethan sighs. It's not you, it's me. She's scared of losing her place if I settle down. They head back to Caldwell Enterprises, the office buzzing with staff. Ethan's assistant, a wiry guy named Tom, pulls him aside with a tablet. Found something, Tom says, voice low. Sophie's been texting Jake Miller, your fiancé's ex. They're planning something big. Emily overhears, her stomach twisting. Jake? She says, stepping closer. Ethan scans the messages, jaw tight. He's in New York. They're cooking up trouble. Emily frowns. He's got no reason to help her. Ethan meets her eyes. He does if she's paying him to hurt you. That night, it hits. Emily's scrolling her phone in the hotel lounge when a notification pings. A video's gone viral, posted from an anonymous account. It's grainy, shot in a dimly lit bar, showing a woman who looks like her laughing with a stranger, their hands brushing. The caption reads, Ethan Caldwell's fiancé caught cheating in Nashville, some loyalty. Comments explode. She's trash. Poor Ethan. Dump her. Emily's breath catches. It's not her, but the resemblance is uncanny. Her phone slips, clattering to the floor. Ethan finds her minutes later, pale and trembling. What's wrong? He asks, kneeling beside her. She points to the screen. It's fake, Ethan, I swear. He watches the video, face hardening. I know it's not you, the timestamp's off, and you were with me that night. He stands, pulling out his phone. Tom, get the tech team on this, trace it. Emily grabs his arm. They won't believe me. Everyone's already decided I'm the bad guy. He covers her hand with his. They'll believe me. I'm not letting this stand. She pulls away, pacing. Maybe I should just go. This isn't worth it. Ethan steps closer, voice firm. You're not running. We're in this together now. His words hang between them, heavier than she expects. She looks at him, his dark eyes steady, and something shifts. He's not just keeping a deal anymore. But she can't think about that, not with her name smeared across the internet. The next day, Ethan's team traces the video to a burner account linked to Jake's IP address. Sophie's fingerprints are all over it, texts proving she paid him to stage the clip with a lookalike. Ethan doesn't waste time. He calls a press conference outside Caldwell Enterprises, cameras flashing as he steps to the podium. Emily stands behind him, heart pounding. The video circulating about Emily Harper is a lie, he says, voice cutting through the noise. It's a fake, orchestrated by my sister, Sophie Caldwell, and Jake Miller. I've got proof, and my legal team's filing charges for defamation. Emily's innocent, and I'll protect her from anyone who says otherwise. Reporters shout questions, but Ethan waves them off, guiding Emily back inside. She's shaking, tears prickling her eyes. You didn't have to do that, she says. He stops, turning to her. Yeah, I did. You don't deserve this. She wipes her face, voice soft. Thanks. He nods, a faint smile breaking through. Come on, let's get out of here. They drive to a quiet diner on the edge of the city, away from the chaos. Over greasy burgers and fries, Ethan opens up. 15 years ago, I almost drowned in a lake in Tennessee, he says, staring at his coffee. I was 7 on a family trip. A girl pulled me out, gave me this. He pulls the sapphire necklace from his pocket, laying it on the table. She said her name was Emily. I've been looking for her ever since. Emily stares at the pendant, her breath catching. I don't remember that. I was in a car accident when I was a kid, hit my head. Doctors said I lost chunks of my past. Ethan slides the necklace to her. Keep it. Even if it's not you, it feels right. She takes it, fingers tracing the gem. Why's it matter so much? He leans back, eyes distant. She saved me, gave me something to hold on to when my family was falling apart. Mom died a year later and Dad turned cold. I owe her. Emily clutches the necklace, a strange warmth spreading through her. I wish I could say it was me. He smiles faintly. Maybe it was. Days pass, the scandal fading as Ethan's team buries it with evidence. Emily stays in New York, no longer just a pawn in his game. They fall into a rhythm, dinners at the diner, late-night talks in his office. She catches herself smiling at his dry humor, the way he listens when she rants about Jake. One night, he walks her to her hotel room, lingering at the door. "You're not what I expected," he says. She laughs softly. "Neither are you." He steps closer, then stops, pulling back. "Good night, Emily." She watches him go, heart racing. A week later, she's at a clinic for a routine checkup, a nagging chest pain she's ignored too long. The doctor's words hit like a punch. "You're pregnant, Miss Harper, but with your heart condition, it's risky." She leaves in a daze, clutching the ultrasound photo. Back at the hotel, Ethan finds her on the couch, staring at it. "What's that?" he asks. She hands it to him, voice trembling. "I'm pregnant. Didn't plan this." He sits beside her, studying the image. "Ours," she nods. "Yeah." He sets the photo down, taking her hand. "We'll figure it out." "I'm not going anywhere." She pulls back, eyes wet. "You don't have to. This wasn't the deal." He tilts her chin up. "Deal's off. This is real now." She searches his face, seeing no trace of the cold CEO she met in Nashville. "You mean that?" He nods. Every word. She leans into him, the weight of the day easing as he holds her. For the first time, she believes him. But peace doesn't last. The next morning, Ethan's phone rings. It's Tom, voice urgent. "Noah's on the move. He's pissed you're keeping Emily around. He's meeting Jake tonight." Ethan's face hardens. "My brother? What's he planning?" Tom hesitates. "Something bad. He's got a vendetta." Emily overhears, dread pooling in her gut. "Noah too?" Ethan stands, grabbing his coat. "Stay here. I'll handle it." She grabs his arm. "I'm coming. This is my fight now." He looks at her, then nods. Together, then. They head out, the city lights blurring past. Emily clutches the ultrasound photo, the necklace heavy around her neck. She's not just fighting for herself anymore. Whatever Noah's planning, she's ready to face it with Ethan by her side. Emily grips Ethan's arm as they step out of the hotel into the cool New York night. The city hums around them, oblivious to the storm brewing in their lives. She clutches the ultrasound photo in her pocket, the sapphire necklace resting against her chest. Ethan's face is set, eyes scanning the street. "Noah's meeting Jake at some dive bar in Brooklyn," he says, voice tight. "Tom's tracking them." Emily nods, her pulse racing. "What's he want with me?" Ethan glances at her. "He's jealous. Always has been. If I'm happy, he's not." They take Ethan's car, a sleek black sedan, and weave through traffic. The bar is a run-down joint called the Rusty Anchor, neon sign flickering above the door. Ethan parks a block away, turning to Emily. "Stay close. If it gets messy, you leave." She shakes her head. "I'm not running." He sighs, but doesn't argue. They slip inside, the air thick with smoke and cheap beer. Jake's at a corner table laughing with a guy in a leather jacket. Noah Caldwell, Ethan's younger brother, 27, with sharp features and a perpetual scowl, looks up and smirks. "Well, well, the happy couple." Ethan steps forward, voice low. "What's this about Noah?" Noah leans back, sipping his drink. "Just catching up with Jake here. He's got stories about your girl." Jake grins, eyeing Emily. "She's a real catch, huh? Too bad she's got baggage." Emily clenches her fists. "You don't know me, Jake." Noah laughs. "Oh, we know enough. That video didn't stick, but I've got something better." He pulls a small urn from his bag, setting it on the table. Emily freezes. It's her grandmother's ashes, stolen from the cemetery in Tennessee. "Where'd you get that?" she demands, voice shaking. Noah taps the urn. "Had a guy dig it up. You want it back? Get me the bidding contract for the Hudson project. Ethan's got it locked up, but I deserve a piece." Ethan lunges, grabbing Noah's collar. "You're sick." Noah shoves him off, smirking. "You're the golden boy, Ethan. Dad's giving you everything. I'm taking what's mine." Emily steps between them. "I'll do it. Just give it back." Ethan spins to her. "No, you won't." She meets his eyes, desperate. It's all I have left of her. They leave the bar, Ethan fuming as they drive back. You're not giving him anything, he says. Emily stares out the window. He's got my grandma, Ethan. I can't let him keep her. He pulls over, gripping the wheel. I'll fix this. Trust me. She nods, but doubt creeps in. That night, she sneaks into Ethan's office at Caldwell Enterprises, heart pounding. The contract's in a locked drawer, but she's watched him use the key. She grabs it, scans the pages with her phone, and sends them to Noah. Guilt twists her gut, but she thinks of the urn. Morning comes, and Noah texts, "Meet me at the old warehouse on 5th. Bring Ethan if you want." She shows Ethan, who's already on edge. "He's playing us," he says. "But we'll end this." They drive to the warehouse, a crumbling shell of brick and rust. Noah's there, alone, the urn on a table. "Contract's good," he says, grinning. "You're a team player, Emily." Ethan steps forward. "Where's the real urn?" Noah frowns. "What?" Ethan pulls an identical urn from his coat. "I had it swapped last night. You've got a fake." Noah lunges but trips, crashing into a glass panel. He groans, clutching a shallow cut on his arm. "You'll pay for this," he spits, staggering out. Emily stares at the real urn, tears welling. "You got it back." Ethan nods. "Couldn't let him win." She hugs him, relief washing over her, but the peace shatters days later. Emily's driving Ethan's car to a prenatal checkup, the ultrasound photo tucked in her purse. The brakes fail on a busy street, tires screeching as she swerves into a pole. Pain sears through her and she blacks out. At the hospital, Ethan rushes in, face pale. The doctor pulls him aside. "She lost the baby. Her heart condition flared up. Crash made it worse. We stabilized her, but she's fragile." Emily wakes to Ethan at her bedside, eyes red. "The baby?" she whispers. He shakes his head, taking her hand. "I'm sorry." She pulls away, tears spilling. "Noah did this, didn't he?" Ethan nods. "Brake lines were cut. My team's got proof." She turns to the wall, voice breaking. "I can't do this anymore, Ethan. Your family's killing me." He reaches for her. "I'll protect you." She shakes her head. "You can't." "I want out." He stands, voice cracking. "I'll give you space, but I'm not giving up." He leaves, the door clicking shut. Days crawl by, Emily holed up in the hotel, staring at the urn. Her heart aches, for the baby, for the mess she's in. Then Ethan's assistant, Tom, calls. He's in trouble, car accident last night. He's in a coma. Emily's breath catches. Where? She races to the hospital, finding Ethan in ICU, tubes snaking from his arms. She sinks beside him, guilt crashing over her. "This is my fault. I pushed you away." A nurse hands her his jacket, the sapphire necklace tumbling out. She clutches it, memories flickering. A lake, a boy drowning, her small hands pulling him to shore. It hits her. Tennessee, 15 years ago. She was 9, on a family camping trip. A boy slipped into the lake and she jumped in, dragging him out. She gave him her necklace, her grandma's gift, and ran off when her parents called. The accident later that year wiped it from her mind. "It was me," she whispers, tears falling. "I saved you." She takes his hand, sobbing. "Wake up, Ethan, please. I can't lose you too." Outside, Nora watches from a parked car, smirking despite his bandaged arm. He dials a number. It's done. He's out of the way. Now it's my turn. The line clicks, and he drives off, leaving Emily alone with her grief. She sits by Ethan's bed, the necklace pressed to her lips, praying for a miracle. The machines beep steadily, a fragile thread holding them together. Emily sits by Ethan's hospital bed, the steady beep of the machines her only companion. His hand rests limp in hers, the sapphire necklace clutched tight in her other palm. The memory of saving him at that Tennessee lake plays on repeat in her mind, a lifeline amid the chaos. She whispers, "I found you again, Ethan. Don't leave me now." Outside, the city hums, unaware of the fragile hope holding her together. Days stretch into weeks, her world shrinking to this sterile room. One gray morning, Ethan's fingers twitched. Emily jolts upright, heart pounding. His eyes flutter open, hazy but alive. "Emily?" he croaks, voice rough. She chokes on a sob, squeezing his hand. "You're back! You scared me to death!" He manages a weak smile. "Couldn't leave you." She leans in, pressing her forehead to his. "I remembered. The lake. It was me. I saved you." His gaze sharpens, tears glistening. "I knew it. My girl." He pulls her close, the necklace slipping between them, a silent promise kept. Recovery takes time. Ethan's moved to a private room, Emily rarely leaving his side. He's weak but stubborn, insisting on sitting up to talk. One afternoon he hands her a folder. "Open it," he says. Inside are documents transferring a chunk of Caldwell Enterprises shares to her name. She frowns. "What's this?" He takes her hand. "A piece of my world. You're not just a guest in it anymore." She shakes her head. "I don't need this, Ethan." He grins faintly. "Too bad. It's yours." Richard visits the next day, his face lined with guilt. He stands stiffly by the bed, avoiding Emily's eyes. "Noah's gone too far," he says, voice low. "Cut the brakes on her car, then yours. I should have stopped him." Ethan sits up, wincing. "Where's he now?" Richard sighs. "Send him to our South Africa branch. No money, no power. He's done." He pulls another folder from his coat, sliding it to Emily. 10 million in a trust fund. "For what we put you through." She stares at it, then at Ethan. "I didn't ask for this." Richard nods. "You earned it. Take it or not, it's there." Emily sets the folder aside, her voice firm. "I don't want your money. I want peace." Richard nods again, softer this time. "You've got it." I'm stepping back. Ethan's in charge now. He leaves, the weight of years lifting slightly. Ethan watches her, eyes warm. "You okay?" She nods, a small smile breaking through. "Yeah, just tired of fighting." Months pass, Ethan regaining strength under Emily's care. They leave New York behind, driving south to Tennessee in a rented pickup. The air's warmer here, thick with summer promise. Emily directs him to a small church outside Nashville, white clapboard and stained glass glowing in the sun. "Here," she says, stepping out with the urn. They walk to a quiet cemetery nearby, her grandmother's name etched on a simple stone. Emily kneels, placing the ashes in a hollow beside it. "I brought you home, Grandma," she whispers. "And I'm not alone anymore." Ethan kneels beside her, hand on her shoulder. "She'd be proud of you." Emily leans into him, tears falling. "I hope so." Back at the church, preparations hum. Emily slips into a white dress, simple but hers, bought with her own savings. Ethan waits at the altar in a dark suit, no tie, his smile wide as she walks down the aisle. The preacher's voice is soft, vows exchanged under a ceiling of old wood. "I promise to stand by you," Ethan says, voice steady. "Through everything," Emily echoes. "Always." Guests are few, just locals and a handful of Ethan's trusted staff, but the air's thick with joy. At the reception, a backyard picnic with string lights and barbecue, Emily pulls Ethan aside. "Got something for you," she says, handing him an envelope. He opens it, finding a new ultrasound photo. 4 weeks, she says, grinning. "Found out yesterday." His jaw drops, then he laughs, pulling her into a hug. "Another chance?" She nods, eyes shining. "Ours." They dance under the lights, her head on his chest, the necklace glinting at her throat. Later, they slip away to the cemetery, standing before her grandmother's grave. Emily rests a hand on her stomach, voice soft. "Grandma, we're married now, and there's a little one coming. I found someone who loves me like you did." Ethan wraps an arm around her, adding, "I'll take care of her, promise." The sun dips low, painting the sky gold, and they stand there, a quiet moment sealing their future. Back at the picnic, laughter rings out as they rejoin the party. Ethan pulls her close for one last dance, whispering, "You're my home, Emily." She smiles, the weight of the past lifting. "You're mine." They sway, The world fading to just them, the baby on the way, a new thread in their story. In New York, Noah sweats in a cramped office, stacks of paperwork his only company. The South African sun beats down, a far cry from the luxury he craved. He mutters, "They'll regret this," but the fight's gone from him. Richard, retired to a Long Island golf course, sips a drink alone, the empire he built now Ethan's to shape. Emily and Ethan settle into a new life, a modest house in Tennessee near the church. She quits bartending, taking a job at a local clinic, her heart condition managed with care. Ethan scales back at Caldwell Enterprises, delegating to spend time with her. One evening, they sit on their porch, her head on his shoulder, the necklace catching the last light. "Think it's a girl or a boy?" she asks. He grins. "Doesn't matter. They'll have your fire," she laughs, squeezing his hand. "And your stubbornness." The night deepens, stars blinking above. Emily traces the sapphire, thinking of the lake, the bar, the chaos that brought them here. "Worth it," she murmurs. Ethan kisses her forehead. "Every second." They sit in silence, the future stretching out, a family forged from broken pieces now whole.